Hey there, good morning. It is 7:30 here on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for being with us this morning. We want to get you ready to head out the door and deal with that cold air and get a check of the traffic as well. And a little bit later, we have a special interview this morning about NFL, My Cause, My Cleats. And we will meet Ryan Davis, the New York Jets defensive assistant coach, as well as his good friends, Chris and Riaja, who are parents to Keelan. And they want to draw attention to Duchenne, which is a muscular dystrophy condition, and how through this journey they have been able to draw hope and inspiration, as well as, try to conquer this disease with their children. So we'll talk to them about that coming up a little bit later. But right now we want to get a check of this forecast. Things really cooling off and going to hang around for a little while. Let's head over to the Pinpoint Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. And you know what? This is sweater weather.
More than just a sweater. I would say a heavier jacket. Not so much today. Right now, it's a nice chilly start. This afternoon, we'll be back into the 60s. We'll be back into the 60s on Saturday, maybe the 70s Sunday and Monday. You think, well, that's it. That was the end of our cold snap. We're going to be dealing with some very chilly air. Mind you, the same front that's coming through on Monday that is going to be dropping our highs into the 50s for about 5-ish days is also going to be causing a mess across the country. So if we here in Central Florida are experiencing highs in the 50s, you can only imagine what the rest of the country is going to be dealing with. We're talking sleet and ice across the deep south, snow across parts of the Appalachians. Right now, the system is causing a mess in the Rockies and the Pacific coast. So this is going to be certainly a travel disruption for so many. So if you're one of those hoping to maybe take like a trip after all the holiday rush, Mother Nature has, another little, throws a little, monkey wrench into it. So it's something we're going to be talking a lot about, of course, as we turn the corner into next week. But we, of course, always kind of look ahead and want to give you kind of the best idea of what to expect, especially as you gear up as the kids are all heading back to school next week. So the week is already going to be tough to get out of bed on time.
It is.
When you start adding temperatures down into the 30s, maybe some 20s possibly across our northern zones.
Get the heavy coat ready then. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be out of the, what a nice cold start, to like, it's still cold. It's still cold. So I have a feeling by next weekend, you're going to have probably about 15 sweaters in the back of your car seats.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be a warm up the car kind of. Okay.
Right. So let's take it to the maps and show you what we're talking about after I pretty much told you the entire weather forecast. It is a frosty start this morning. We do have a frost advisory for central and western Marion County. Now we have one of two fronts, the main two fronts that we're going to be talking about. The first one that comes through today, it's really not going to be dropping temperatures significantly. This one's really more of just kind of a reinforcing upkeep of this cool air. So on Saturday, we'll be a little cooler, low 60s for our highs. Lows will be back down into that kind of the 30s and 40s Saturday night and Sunday morning. And then on Sunday, we're going to start bouncing back those temperatures. So it'll be a nice cool Sunday. Then here comes that front. That front comes in on Monday, builds up a lot of warmth ahead of it. So the warmest day of the week, or at least the warmest day in the next almost 10 days or so, will be on Monday in the mid 70s. And then we're talking about a big blast of cold air. Now, highs and lows won't be record breaking, but the stretch of weather is what's really going to be noticeable, because we haven't seen a stretch like this since about 2018. So just kind of putting that into perspective. Right now out the door, we're in those 30s across our northwestern zones, mid 40s along I-4, maybe a handful of 50s in and around areas of central and southern Brevard County. That's going to be kind of the setup again later on tonight. So as we take here hour by hour, 66, that is going to be our high today. Our average, by the way, is only about 72 or so. Later on tonight, down to 44 and a mostly clear skies. Can't rule out the chance of some patchy frost, especially across those neighborhoods that tend to dip down into those 30s. Pretty much the same zones like today, kind of north into Marion County, Northern Lake, inland Volusia, inland Flagler. We'll have that potential there. But we're really going to get stuck in kind of a chilly weather pattern. So this is basically shows you where the jet stream is, highlighted in those kind of purples, blues there. And the jet stream is basically like, think of it as I-4 in the sky, right? In the upper levels of the atmosphere, it's what basically commutes a lot of these fronts across the country. And that's why fronts go from west to east. It's because of that jet stream, right? So as that jet stream digs south, it basically just opens the door and just sends fronts after fronts after fronts. And that's exactly what it's going to do. So there's Tuesday, there's that big dip that from that front on Monday. And then look what happens. We're just stuck in that bright neon blue, which tends to bring in that cooler air. And that is why temperatures could be staying in the 50s for daytime highs. Look at that all the way through Saturday, Sunday. It looks like we might be able to finally warm up into the 60s for highs by about Monday. And that's when you see that kind of ridging going on in the Gulf of Mexico. That green is going to start lifting back in, and we could start to kind of thaw out across Central Florida. So that's in the upper levels. So below that jet stream is those cold fronts. So this is what I wanted to show you here. Here comes that cold front later on today. Temperatures will be today in the 60s. It'll cool down nicely Saturday and Sunday. Look what happens into Monday. We're going to get it back into those mid 70s. About a 10 to 20% chance of rain can't be ruled out ahead of that cold front. But really notice, once this front clears, notice where those temperatures stay. So let's run through it, Bridgett. 40s, 50s, 40s, 50s, 40s. Let's see. Still more in those 40s into the 30s potentially.
Wow.
And then that cold front comes through. So that means between our highs and our lows, we're really not going to be experiencing anything warmer than 59 degrees or so. So here's our temperature trend showing you that little dip on Saturday, a little warm up as we head into Monday. And then that's where that stretch of those 50s starts up on Tuesday. And as you saw with that jet stream pattern, could stick around until next weekend. So when I say make sure you have sweaters available, it's not just one or two like a typical cold snap here in Central Florida will be. You're going to have to kind of wash and clean sweaters, because I know most of us here in Central Florida don't have 6 different outfits to wear over the next chilly 6 days, because again, it's not going to be much warmer into the afternoon. So,
All right.
like what we talked about yesterday, just channel the cooler air and just kind of put that in
Embrace
a jar.
it, yeah.
That way, when you're dealing with the heat, humidity, and hurricanes in the summer,
Remember
you're like,
this.
remember when?
Yep.
Exactly.
All right, Candace. Well, we'll bundle up there. Thank you so much for
You're
the heads
welcome.
up.
Bye.
All right,
Sure.
bye. All right, let's head over to Trooper Steve, and he is not quite out in results one yet, but I'm sure headed there. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm trying to stay as warm as long as possible.
Yeah, what's up for today?
Today, I'll be headed over towards Icon Park, hanging out with the Florida Highway Patrol Auxiliary. So they're a volunteer organization that has been developed, written into Florida statute as a supplement organization that assists Florida Highway Patrol troopers. So they are a nonprofit, and they wear a slightly different uniform than the rest of us, but they are an amazing group of men and women. So they are going to be putting on the first ever first responder 5K over at Icon Park at the end of the month. So we're going to be
Nice.
talking about that today. I'm going to be they're not a very social in front of the camera group of guys and women, because they like just supporting. So I was like, hey, the only reason I'm going to get behind this is if you guys get in the truck. So they're going to get in the truck with me today. We're going to have a good discussion, maybe talk about the laws, how they were developed, and what their ultimate mission is. And then, of course, invite everyone out to register and come out for that 5K. It's going to be a great time. So that will be 10 o'clock today at clickorlando.com, YouTube, and all the fun platforms.
Good deal. Well, how are we looking out
Yeah,
there
I'm excited
today?
about that.
Yeah.
Roadways, right now, I do have a nasty crash that just came out a second ago. It's the only one I'm currently watching. All lanes of eastbound Osceola Parkway at Point Siena Boulevard is currently shut down. So it's eastbound. That means you're headed towards the Hunters Creek area or the Loop, and they are requiring everyone to exit at Point Siena Boulevard. So two different options. You can continue heading east on 192 or then head up north to State Road 417. Outside of that, we're in great shape across Central Florida. DOT cam showing at some of our hot spots, 408 Alafaya, Redbug, 535, even fast 532 out there on I-4. Looking good this morning. Still 27-minute drive if you're headed towards downtown from the Champions Gate area with a minor delay. And look at that, Bridgett. Things are running smooth. So people just need to take it nice and easy on a Friday. But this is all I've got to say before I let you go. Monday, Bridgett, we will be back to normal on the roads. So people need to understand that the delays are going to be back. Some kids are headed back. and we just need to put the holidays behind us.
Yep. All right. Sounds like a plan. Stay
I'll
warm.
see you later.
All right. See you then. We have a few updates to get to this morning, and then we will have that live interview about NFL My Cause, My Cleats with a local family here in Orlando. But first, we want to update you on New Orleans. The FBI now saying that they believe that the suspect acted alone when he drove into that crowd on New Year's Eve. And so here's News 6's Angie Casada with the latest on that investigation.
The FBI says 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar carried out a solo ISIS-inspired attack early New Year's Day on Bourbon Street. Newly released details show Jabbar rented an electric truck in Houston, where he lived days before the attack. Investigators say he drove to New Orleans, placed 2 improvised explosive devices in the French Quarter, and posted a final video declaring support for ISIS.
Nothing to indicate through call records, through anything on those devices, through interviews, through anything in our systems that he was aided in this attack by anybody.
Jabbar, an Army veteran who served in Afghanistan, was killed in a gunfight with police. His brother says the family is in shock.
Nobody's seen anything like this coming. I'm still shocked by the whole thing. It still doesn't seem like it actually happened.
On clickorlando.com. Now here we want to talk about a daycare that is suddenly closing, saying the rent is just going up way too much and they won't be able to do it, but it's leaving families really worried and scrambling here at the start of the new year. News 6's Troy Campbell has more.
Honestly, I didn't get to fully read it for like several hours because it was just such a shock.
Carrie and Joelle Oquendo say they're rushing to find a new daycare facility for their 5-month-old daughter, Emma, after they received this letter dated December 29th, stating the Waterman Early Learning Academy in Tavares will cease operations on January 10th, giving parents less than 2 weeks' notice.
I've been crying a lot, lots of headaches, just like a dread in the pit of my stomach.
I spoke with the daycare provider CEO over the phone, and he said for several months he's been trying to secure a new location after Advent Health informed him the rent would increase from just $1,500 a month to a whopping $14,000 a month. The letter cited rising costs for running the business as well. Advent Health released this statement to News 6 saying, "While we are not involved with the operations or decisions on behalf of the daycare, we fully empathize with the concerns raised by families. For nearly 2 years, we have actively worked with the facility's operations team and provided below market rent while they explored alternate location sites." The Oquendos say they're struggling to find a new daycare facility.
Maybe someone can come in and open daycares in the area, just something to make families' lives easier here.
And the operator of the daycare also says as many as 70% of their parents work here at Advent Health Waterman. So far, there's been no update on who the new tenant will be. In Tavares, Troy Campbell, Getting Results, News 6.
And we'll keep you posted on that one on clickorlando.com. A quick break and we'll be right back with a live interview. Welcome back. I told you earlier we had a live interview coming up today about NFL My Cause, My Cleats. And we're so happy to have Christopher and Riesia Horn with us this morning, who are the parents of Keelan and Kai, as well as their good friend Ryan Davis, defensive assistant coach for the New York Jets. They are joining us this morning to share their story of friendship and family and support for great causes and these beautiful boys. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to have you with us. We are excited. Oh, is Keelan being shy now? Keelan, you're not shy. I'll let you all start us out. Hi, Keelan. Hey. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Just sit back and relax with us. We're having a good time. We're just playing on the computer right now. So when we think about this My Cause, My Cleats, this is something really special to you all and your friend Ryan with the Jets. And so tell us how this all came about, because I understand, Chris, you and Ryan played together at BCU. And so when he heard about Keelan struggling with Duchenne, how did all of this come about?
Yeah, so it was actually a surprise. Like you said, me and Ryan are great friends from our time at the great Bethune-Cookman University. We played football together, and so I mean, we've been close knit since that time. And obviously, when we got this diagnosis, it's something I share with my closest friends, which he happens to be one of them. And he's been there since. I mean, we got the diagnosis while in utero, and so he's been supporting us just like any of my other friends since that time with Keelan's diagnosis with Duchenne. And the way that it came about, honestly, that morning they were playing the Seahawks. I was literally just sitting in bed, and he dropped a picture in our group chat of the shoes themselves, and it took a second for me
Oh,
to kind of process what was going on. But once I did, like I got like a knot in my throat from the gesture. Like it's major for us.
yes. And Ryan, how did you come up with this idea, or how did you team up with the My Cause My Cleats to sort of get this going? Can you give us some of the background? Are
Cause
you?
do we want to kind of can you hear me?
Yes, now we hear you. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Every year they
Why
kind of
that?
ask
Why that fierceness behind?
they kind of ask us what cause we want to highlight or bring attention to. You know what I'm saying? So for me, this was easy. Chris is a brother of mine. So for me, Cure Duchen's shoot that was the easy part. Just and I was surprised about how well they did the shoes. Everything turned out perfect.
And so, how has this been able to make a difference for the family, for Keelan, and drawing more attention to this condition?
For it's been, from my understanding, it's been wonderful. There's been a lot of outreach, a lot of like the spotlight on it has been big. I didn't think it'd be this big. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's been major. I'm researching it. I'm getting more info on it myself. I'm getting educated myself
Mm-hmm.
through all of this. So um, to be able to use my platform, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, even though I'm not a player anymore, I'm coaching, and I didn't think it would be this big. So for me to use this platform to highlight my friends, you know, uh, you know, journey, I think is
Yeah.
awesome.
And Chris, I understand you went to a conference attending the Cure Duchenne's annual Futures Conference. They had it in Orlando this year. And so I would imagine they were excited and had heard about the Cleats initiative as well. And so it's raising more awareness around this. Lots of people maybe hadn't heard of it before.
I mean, the NFL is one of the largest platforms on the earth. So, for us to bring that cause, well, not even us, for Ryan to bring that cause to that platform has been tremendous. And like you said, the outreach and the response from the shoes themselves has been overwhelming and amazing.
And so, can others get the shoes? How can we show support and get involved?
So at this time, those are one of one. Ryan got them exclusively made and customized. What we'll actually be doing is teaming up with Cure Duchenne, so we can auction them off. So raise funds for further research and for advanced medicine, like the Keelan had.
Mm-hmm. And Rieja, we talked a little about Keelan's progress. He's been doing much better. Give us some background on this gene therapy treatment and some of the advancements that are happening with curing Duchenne, treating Duchenne's muscular dystrophy condition.
Okay, so I think it's important to highlight the fact that all individuals that are affected by Duchenne don't have access to treatments. That's why it's so important to support Cure Duchenne, the organization, because all their resource goes towards advancements that are um, developing drugs that are used to treat Duchenne.
Mm-hmm.
Some patients are able to receive treatments like our son was able to. It really depends on what specific mutation each child has.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
what have you learned
oh, go
about this
ahead.
gene therapy? Because you were saying he just completed a groundbreaking gene therapy treatment. So this is something new.
Yes. Whenever we found out that Keelan was going to inherit the trait during my pregnancy, there were no treatments available at that time. So since his birth in the year 2021, I believe the first exon skipping drug became available, which Keelan had access to based on his mutation. And then in the following year, gene therapy was available to us as well. That's a one-time treatment that he received last year, and it's meant to target the gene to help his body receive the microdystrophin. Um, and and since he's received it, he hasn't had any complications, and we have noticed like a difference in his activity levels. So it is not a cure, but it's going to significantly like slow the progression of the disease. And since it's new, it's something that we have to just see as it comes. Like there's no other people before him that we can reference and look at and know how it's going to look in the future or how it's going to progress. So we're just taking it a day at a time. That's what makes this so special.
The goal is with this slowing down the progression of the onset of the symptoms, that it slows it down to enough that we raise enough funds and research to get a cure. So ultimately, that is the goal, to get to a cure by organizations like Cure Duchenne and raising these funds.
And have you met other families as well? And this has helped raise awareness around this, and especially with getting the cleats, the My Cause My Cleats involved through the NFL, and just learning more from each other and drawing support that way.
The organization Cure Duchenne, in addition to funding research, they also provide a network of support for other families that there's a community of people that are that either have family members affected, caregivers, medical professionals, researchers. We met so many people at the conference, and in addition to the conference that they hold annually, they also have outreach events that they do to bring awareness to this and to raise money. So if you go on the website, they always have like tons of different events going on where people can show up and learn more. And that's pretty much how we've been able to meet other families that are dealing with the same thing.
And that's cureduchenne.org. That's cureduchenne.org. And so how can we help out with the auction or get involved to show more support in terms of either the NFL My Cause My Cleats initiative or help you all out? What do you want to leave people with as far as contacts, information, and keeping in touch?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, to the people that are affected by this, we want you all to know that you're not by yourselves, that communities like Cure Duchenne have been built to guide you, support you through your journey. And to those who are not immediately affected, go to cureduchenne.org and find out more about the cause and how you can, donate and also volunteer your time towards this cause.
And we know many people are looking for ways to show support, and they want to know that it's going to something that really makes a difference, and you're a shining example of that, and these groundbreaking treatments that are happening and research that needs to happen. And Ryan, so are you going to get more cleats? Is this going to just keep going, or what's the next thing?
Oh yeah, I'll do this every year. When this time rolls around, when they ask for it, I'll do this every year. It's really not a problem for me to do that. And honestly, it's the least I can do. I think Chris and Asia are the real rock stars in this, and for just being boots on the ground and just going so hard, I admire that. So for me to be able to just shed a light, or so to speak, on it, on those two, just going hard for Keelan and Kai, I think is awesome. So sure, I'm right behind them. I got work to do. I got to catch up. So I'm real proud of them. Yep.
Definitely. Well, looking forward to hearing more from you all, positive updates, as well as other ways we can show support. Is there anything else you want to let us know about? Please let us know.
We just really appreciate you guys bringing this to the forefront and educating the masses. This is something that's so rare, and a lot of people have never heard of this, just like we hadn't heard of it prior to receiving the diagnosis. So I think it's so awesome that we're able to shine light on this disease, people that are affected, and the organizations that are helping bring awareness and a cure, hopefully.
So appreciate you, Ryan, of course, and thank you, Bridgett, for having us on this morning. It means the world to us.
Good job.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you all. So Horn family, Mr. Davis, Keelan and Kai, I know they're back there somewhere playing. Hope you all have a great day, and hope to keep in touch with you.
All right. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Take
Happy
care.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
For sure. All right, that's going to do it for us. But again, check out cureduchenne.org for more about this condition and how you can show support, as well as the NFL My Cause, My Cleats initiative and other ways that you can show support for worthwhile causes out there. So that's going to do it for us. Stay warm out there. We'll see you again at noon.